Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Bill Dean. I'm the Executive Vice President of the Texas Tech Alumni Association. And on behalf of the association and Texas Tech University, let me welcome you to this prestigious event, probably the most prestigious event that we hold every year, because we recognize people who have distinguished not only themselves, but Texas Tech. I'd like to introduce to you David Miller, who's going to be the master of ceremonies for our occasion tonight. David is the founder of Spirit Ranch in 2005. Spirit Ranch is a leadership and team development retreat center. David is formerly chairman and CEO of the Med Group in Lubbock. He's held numerous leadership positions in our community, including serving 2 terms as mayor. He's been 30 years on the board of the Lubbock National Bank, president of the Southwest Rotary Club, chairman of the Chamber of Commerce. He has 2 sons, Matt, who's a Tech graduate, came to Tech on a baseball scholarship, played with the Detroit Tigers, to a son, Tim, who went to A&M, but came back to the Texas Tech Health Sciences Center to get his medical degree, and has come back to practice here, and Elizabeth, who also went to A&M. 7 grandchildren. Welcome, David Miller.
Thank you for that mediocre introduction, Bill. You're so eloquent. Now, he said 2 of my 3 kids went to A&M. That is correct. It's good news for Matt. There's only 1 left in the will, and he's thrilled about that. Well, there's been a lot of changes from a year ago when I had the pleasure of standing at this podium. In fact, this is the 10th time that I've been asked to do this, and I think if I continue to pay, they'll continue to ask me to come back and do it some more. But for example, these glasses. I haven't worn glasses in a long time. I did growing up, then I got that fancy LASIK surgery, you know, but evidently now I have cataracts. And a real dry professor over at the Health Sciences Center and I were good friends, but we were talking. I said, have you ever had cataracts? And he says, no, but I got 2 Toyotas. And I thought that was kind of an interesting, that is so old. And Hans will comment on that later. Thank you for not doing it so loud they can hear you. Now, I also, you can't see them, can you? I have my first set of hearing aids on. That's different from last year, too. And I really thought it was Jane Ann that needed the hearing aids. So a doctor recommended the simple at-home test. So gentlemen, ladies, you might try this at home yourselves. Get about 25 feet away from your wife as she's preparing a meal. And so it just so happens that our bedroom, you can look across the living room, have an open kitchen, and Jane Ann had her back to me working at the island cooking dinner. And so I said in a very normal tone of voice, honey, what's for dinner? No answer whatsoever. So the suggestion would just get a little closer and a little closer. So I got in the living room, which is, I don't know, 20 feet away maybe, and I said, honey, what's for dinner? No answer. So I go to the little bar that separates the living room and the kitchen. I said, honey, what's for dinner? No answer. So finally I kind of sneak up right behind her and whisper in her ear, honey, what's for dinner? And she said, for the 4th time, it's chicken. So yes, I'm the one with the hearing aids on. There have been a lot of changes in the last year. One thing that doesn't seem to ever change for this incredible evening is the preparation and the hard work that goes into it by our Peggy Pierce, who is in charge of the whole night. She's right over there in that good-looking Red Raider red, and she's embarrassed. Would you give her a round of applause? I'd like to ask Bobby Waddle to come forward now. Bobby's from DeSoto, Texas. He's a member of our National Alumni Association board, and he's going to lead us in our Pledge of Allegiance as well as our invocation. Mr. Waddle?
If everyone would please rise if appropriate. We will at this time do the pledge to the U.S. flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. At this time, our invocation, if you would, please. Let's go to the Lord in prayer. Our Heavenly Father, thank you for the many blessings you have bestowed upon us. We're ever mindful that through your will, anything is possible. We at times fail to keep the faith and desire our agendas to be fulfilled instantaneously. When this does not occur, we are saddened, but we are again reminded of your presence in our lives through your guidance, grace, and forgiveness. Lord, your presence and guidance instilled in those in leadership, faculty, and staff positions within our great university are truly a blessing in the preparation of our students for a positive role in our society, nation, and the world. Father, tonight we honored 3 former graduates of our beloved university for their success and contributions to society and the nation. Their accomplishments reflect highly upon themselves and Texas Tech, which provided a solid foundation upon which to achieve their goals and to succeed. We praise you, Lord, and pray you will continue to bless our distinguished alumni, this great university, and all who enter and pass through its portals. On this Veterans Day weekend, we ask for your continued oversight and blessings on our military and their families who are currently serving, many in harm's way, and on those who served previously, and on those who paid the ultimate price to preserve our freedom. God bless America and all those who seek freedom. We ask these things in your name. Amen.
Sir. Thank you, Bobby. The order of events is printed in the program that you have at your place, and so we want you to relax and enjoy a wonderful meal served by our host. And we'll give a little 10-minute warning before the actual program starts, so if you need to take a break, you can. So enjoy your meal, and I'll be back in just a little while. Glad you're here. Well, I promise this will be the last time that I interrupt you, and it may not be the last time I welcome you, because it's with sincere gratitude that the staff and the board of the Alumni Association welcome you tonight. Our wonderful servers will continue their work, obviously, as we move into this part of our program this evening. The National Board does so much for this university and has for many years, and we want to recognize, not by name, because of the amount of the number of people here tonight that are either past presidents, past members, or current members of our National Alumni Association Board. Would you do us a favor by just sort of waving your hand real big where we can see you, and would you give them a hand of applause for your service? Thank you for what you do for us. In addition, we have several past recipients of the Distinguished Alumnus Award with us tonight. Would you honor us by simply standing where you are so that we can recognize you? If you've received this award before, please stand. Thank you. We're again honored to have you as well. It's my pleasure to introduce Dr. Lawrence Skuvenik. I've been practicing that all day, Lawrence Skuvenik, the interim president of Texas Tech University, the Dean of Arts and Sciences. And Dean, Mr. President, if you would come on up at this time. This is a little out of order from your program, but our president has an important engagement here shortly. It has to do with the son that's playing football tonight in high school. And with all due respect to our honorees, I think you will agree he has his priorities straight. Come on up, Lawrence. I want to just welcome him, please. Can you tell me what I'm holding in my hand?
It's the College of Arts and Sciences Departments and Majors.
That's correct, sir. Straight off the internet, printed earlier today.
I'm no longer in charge of that.
That doesn't have anything to do with what I'm about to take. You see all these different, there's got to be 50 majors listed here. You see those that I've highlighted here, sir. Can you just read out some of those, not all of them?
Pre-law, pre-dental, pre-medical technician,
One more.
pre-medicine.
Okay, good. Now, I don't see anywhere on here where it says pre-business. because that's what I was in pre-business. And it was my chemistry teacher who convinced me I was in pre-business. And so I left your department 45 years ago this fall to enter into the business world, and to this day I can't spell H2O. So I'm grateful to you being here this evening. You do have a prior engagement, and we're delighted to have you here.
Thank you very
Thank you for
much.
your service.
Thank you very much, David. I did see the interim dean in the back there. So Jeff, get that free business on there. Well, good evening. It's my pleasure to be here. Brian, Ginger, President Schmidly, please accept my personal congratulations for having been selected as distinguished alumni. I met Ginger, maybe it was 2 or 3 years ago when I was dean, and she was the speaker for the December commencement. I went to lunch with her and Professor Borst, who had a real profound effect on her career. Her mother was with us, and then a few months later, we featured her on the front cover of the Arts and Sciences magazine, along with a colleague from NASA, Sally Davis. And I believe there had been 85 flight directors at NASA, 300 or so astronauts, and those two ladies, both graduates of Texas Tech, had been flight directors. And I just met Brian a few months ago at the Texas State game in San Marcos. It was very brief, but it's really a pleasure to be here tonight when you get honored. And President Schmidly, I was so pleased to see him. You look wonderful. It's very good to see you again. I reminded him of a conversation we had many years ago. I was a faculty member in math, and I was considering applying for a associate dean's position in the graduate school, and he suggested that I should think about serving as the chair of mathematics. And he said, but don't do it for more than 5 years. I did it for 10 years. I should have taken your advice. But we're here to acknowledge and celebrate your success and your exemplary contributions to your profession. But at the same time, it's a celebration of the success of Texas Tech. The legacy of an institution is built on the reputation of its graduates, and you have added to that legacy in significant ways. At the same time, your stories of success serve as a window into the future. I think it's exciting to consider what sort of alumni we'll be honoring in the future. And as you see our students on campus today, you can only dream about the things they'll accomplish. It's this connection between our past legacy and the promise of what can be that makes a university such an exciting place. I want to express my sincere thanks to the Alumni Association, everyone involved in putting on this event. It's occasions such as this that really remind us what a special family and community Texas Tech is. I also appreciate the fact that I precede Chancellor Hans tonight. It's one of the tough things about being in the president's office that I go second. And in fact, I was telling some at the table tonight, I was at an event today, the Hall of Fame inductee for media and communication, and the chancellor spoke, and the guy next to me said, "That's pretty good." And then I went up and spoke, and I sat down, and I looked at him, and he looked at me, and I looked back at him, and he never said a word. So, Ginger, Brian, Dr. Schmidly, you're role models for our students. Texas Tech is proud of you and all of your accomplishments, and it's such a pleasure to honor you this evening.
Thank you, Mr. President. We're grateful that you're here tonight. I thought he spoke pretty well for a math guy. Did all right. David Wagner is the current president of the Alumni Association. Dave, would you start making your way up, please, sir? He's from Hillsborough, Texas. He's an attorney and provides leadership for our legislative affairs, both on a state and a national level. David, what did Benjamin Franklin, Davy Crockett, and Teddy Roosevelt all have to say about honest lawyers?
There are none.
Thank you very much. It's all yours.
Thank you. Well, welcome, and it's certainly a high honor to host this prestigious event. And on behalf of the 27,000 members and the 85 chapters and growing that we have nationwide, I want to certainly congratulate Ginger. I want to congratulate Brian and David. Congratulations. It's certainly a high honor to bestow these honors upon you, and you certainly are most deserving. And I personally want to welcome the family members that are here and all the friends that have come to share in this momentous event. 2012 for our association was truly outstanding. Our association celebrated its 85th anniversary, and as a part of that, we raised over $130,000 for scholarships, and we hope to try to continue to double that every year, and that's one of our main goals, is to help raise scholarships. The expansion of this tremendous facility and the completion of it and the completion of the Ken Hance Chapel has really enabled us to have an outstanding facility for activities such as this. We launched our new website this year, which for you techies in the audience, it's extremely user-friendly. It now carries real-time information for our alumni and for the members of this university, and we're very proud for that, and we're very thankful to the senior staff members that have made that happen. Social media, electronic media, it's considered one of the top social media in the Big 12 Conference, and we're very proud of that too, and we've had a lot of compliments for that. Something unique, we've created a Student Alumni Association here at Texas Tech, and in fact, as part of that, we've allowed their president to have a standing position on our alumni board, and we're hopeful that that'll help us to further reach out to the current students here at Texas Tech so we can do a better job of trying to recruit them as members once they graduate. We've also continued to actively support academic recruiting nationwide and try to do what we can, not only to increase numbers, but also certainly the quality of the students that attend here at Texas Tech. And of course, we actively and very eagerly assist the president and the chancellor in the projects that they have asked us to help them with. We're proud to be Red Raiders. We're certainly honored to help support this great university, and we're equally honored to be here tonight to honor three outstanding individuals, Ginger, Brian, and David. Congratulations on behalf of the Alumni Association, and we thank all the guests for being here with us tonight.
Thank you, David. This is my 10th year to MC this event, as I said earlier, and it's the 4th consecutive year that I get to introduce Ken Hance, and we have been trading barbs for the last 4 years, and it's not always an advantage to go before Hance because he gets the last word. So no barbs tonight. In fact, I've got some pretty good ones right here, Chancellor, but instead I'm going to say I love Ken Hance. I'm not talking romantically here. I just want to make sure you understand. I love his loyalty and his dedication. I don't fully understand his energy level and how he does everything that he needs to do. I also cannot fathom the number of names that he remembers, and not just names, but stories about the people that bear those names. And speaking of bearing, if you ever want anybody to bear your banners far and wide, it is Chancellor Ken Hance. Kent?
He pointed out, it said speaks briefly. It's nothing like being introduced by one of your former C students. And, no, I'll tell you, he talked about having a hearing aid. I asked him a while ago, I said, how you like your hearing aid? He said, 7:30. 7:30. Missed that one, didn't he? Texas Tech is doing great in everything that we're doing. We're at $952 million in our $1 billion campaign. So we're getting close. We're getting close, and a lot of people thought we would never reach that, and looks like we may reach it a year and a half ahead of time. So we're excited about that. A lot of great things are happening, but none of it could happen without the people. And tonight we're honoring some people that have done an outstanding job. All three of them are good friends of mine. Ginger Kerrick is a role model for a lot of people, and she's top notch. I had her speak to my class on leadership, and she was really inspiring, and she did such a great job. We had her speak at graduation, and she's still one of the most popular graduation speakers we've ever had in I appreciate you and all you've done for Texas Tech and your friendship. Brian's given me a lot of help, and he's given Texas Tech a lot of help, and he's also given me 6 McCoy building hats. I've got them in my closet, and I wear them on occasions. They're good. And all that you and your family have done for Texas Tech. You love Texas Tech and what it did for you, but you've done even more for us, and we appreciate you. And David Schmidly, we've never had a better president than David Schmidly. He's top notch, and you know, I got to looking, and we had honored different people. And I said, look, we've got a guy that's been president of 3 Division I schools, Texas Tech, Oklahoma State, and New Mexico. That's big time. We need to honor him. And I said, you look what he's been through. At Texas Tech, he had to report to David Smith. At Oklahoma State, he had to report to Boone Pickens. And at New Mexico, he had to report to Governor Bill Richardson. I mean, this guy's been through it all. You know, a lot of people were worried about his health. I said, if he can beat those other 3 and do it well, he's going to do great. And we worried about you there for a while. You look great. Your family looks great. And I just want to tell all 3 of you, we're proud of you. And when we get to the part, bear our banners far and wide, y'all have done it. You're first class. Thank you.
For the record, Jerome Schutzberg was my business law professor. I was overqualified for Hance's class. Okay, and you understand he gets to come back up later, so. This brings us to a moment that you all came here for tonight. It's not just a spotlight, lady and gentlemen. It is really to celebrate significance as opposed to your success, because you've touched so many lives in so many different ways, many of which you will never know. Well, at least tonight we get to recognize you for what you have done to improve our society and bring honor to our university. This is the highest honor, as Dr. Dean said earlier. This is the most important event of the Alumni Association, at least for the year, because of the honors that we're going to bestow tonight. So this is a chance for you to reposition or position your chairs. We've got 2, oh my goodness, I'm up there. We've got 2 screens over on this way, so if a column is in your way, be sure you shift around, because these videos will be well worth watching. And as you do that, let me tell you kind of the order of the events. First Ginger, then Brian, then David are going to be honored via a video that you'll see on their lives. And then if you would, come forward and who is it? Bill? Yep, Bill Dean will be here to greet you and make a presentation to you. And once those videos start rolling and you have a chance to say your comments after yours, there'll be no further introduction. So Brian, you'll be ready as soon as Ginger finishes her comments and after your video runs, and then Dr. Schmidly, you'll wrap up. And then you'll come up again after everyone's been recognized, and Chancellor Hance will make a special presentation to you as well. So, Mr. Ogletree, I believe we are ready when people get positioned to roll the first video on Ginger.
Go for main engine start. We have main engine start. 2, 1. Booster ignition and the final liftoff of Discovery. A tribute to the dedication, hard work, and pride of America's space shuttle team.
Ginger Kerrick is the first female Hispanic flight director for NASA. In the history of the program, only 80 people have served as flight directors, with 12 of those being women. Ginger grew up with her family in El Paso, Texas, where she was active in Girl Scouts and other activities. Kerrick dreamed big from childhood. She wanted to be an astronaut or a professional basketball player. Her father died when she was 11 years old, making it impossible for a mother of 4 to be able to fund her education. Ginger graduated second in her class and was named El Paso Athlete of the Year. She attended the University of Texas at El Paso, majoring in physics. After a knee injury took the basketball dream out of the picture, she contacted Texas Tech. The chair of the physics department found scholarships and part-time jobs, making it a reality for her to earn her bachelor's degree in 1991 and her master's degree in 1993, both in physics.
The campus life to me was like a big family. We took care of each other, and I met a lot of great people that I'm still in contact with today. I would not have gone to Texas Tech had it not been for Dr. Walter Borst. And I drove up here with my mother and sat down with him and explained to him what my goals were, that I wanted to work at NASA, I wanted to come here and study physics, but that I didn't have all of my finances in order to be able to do that.
I remember when you came in 1989 with your mom from El Paso, and you were a quiet girl, determined already at the time, I could tell. Your mother was very scared, and she was afraid that her little girl would get lost on the Great Plains of West Texas. But I think we managed. We found you some support at Texas Tech, and we were very pleased that you came. She turned out to be a very determined, excellent student, good grades, working hard, actually working several jobs at the same time, and also she had a couple of scholarships, and I think all of that got her through college.
She worked at NASA as a summer intern in 1991, and by 1994, Kerrick was working full-time for NASA's safety organization. After a year, she worked a 6-month rotation with the Mission Operations Directorate as an instructor for the environmental control and life support system of the yet-to-be-flown International Space Station. Kerrick was selected for astronaut interviews, but was disqualified because of medical reasons. Kerrick took a fresh perspective that it just wasn't meant to be, and in 1996, she was permanently assigned to the Mission Operations Directorate. Following her experience as an International Space Station Life Support Systems instructor, her newly created position supported the Expedition 1 space station crew in 2001.
Commander, Bill Shepard. Soyuz pilot, Yuri Gidzenko. Flight engineer, Sergei Krikalev. The crew of the first expedition to the International Space Station was ready to put its years of preparation into practice. At the Baikonur Cosmodrome in Kazakhstan, they boarded a Soyuz spacecraft and launched a new era of world cooperation in space.
3, 2, 1.
Intermediate.
We have ignition and liftoff. Liftoff of the Soyuz rocket, beginning the first expedition to the International Space Station and setting the stage for permanent human presence in space.
After the success of that mission, Kerrick became the first non-astronaut Capcom, or capsule communicator, the position that relays information from mission control to the crew. She remained in the position for 4 years until becoming a flight director in 2005. She was recently named assistant to the chief for ISS in the flight director's office.
I am a flight director, and most people say, "What is a flight director?" And I reply with, "Have you seen Apollo 13? The guy with the vest. That is me."
Working with skilled and committed individuals with a can-do positive attitude is rewarding to Kerrick. She also enjoys mentoring the co-op students, doing what she can to inspire them. Kerrick says her career is more than she dreamed it could be. Where else can you get that kind of experience? There's drama and job satisfaction every day. She was presented with the National Aeronautics Outstanding Leadership Award in 2007. Her dedication to professionalism earned Kerrick the 2011 Women on the Move Award by the Texas Executive Women. She also has a flair for cake art, often making themed cakes for work events. Kerrick was the summer commencement speaker at Texas Tech in 2010. She remains connected and is interested in all things involving her alma mater.
I met Chancellor Hans probably about a year ago when I came down to give a talk in his leadership class. And I hadn't heard from him until last month when he called me and he asked if I would like to be the commencement speaker at this weekend's graduation. I thought he had the wrong number. But once I came to and confirmed that indeed he really did want me to talk to y'all, I said, well, you know, I've never given a commencement speech before. What am I supposed to say? What do you recommend that I share with the students today? To which he replied, why don't you tell them about your big dream and how you had a really big dream for your life, but then that didn't go so well, and so you had to come up with a backup dream, and that backup dream was pretty much as good as that good dream. Why don't you tell them about that? That was done in love, by the way.
And I'm not anybody special. This is something that anybody can do. It is so incredible to wake up every morning and realize, wow, I am here, and this is exactly what I've wanted to do since I was 5 years old.
Ginger Kerrick, you are indeed someone special, an example of success, overcoming obstacles and going forward with determination and big dreams. The Texas Tech Alumni Association and Texas Tech University are proud to honor you with the Distinguished Alumna Award for 2012.
Congratulations. I'll keep this for a minute. I think I want to take a picture. One more.
Well, thank you very much. Oh, no, sorry, I forgot where I was. Can't believe y'all showed that. I would like to start off with a sincere thank you to the Committee of Alumni and University officials that have selected me as one of the 2012 Texas Tech Distinguished Alumni. When I read up on all the other people that have received this award or that are going to receive this award tonight, I was very humbled. I am in the company of CEOs and military leaders and professional athletes, and I just found that astounding. And all of these people have done extraordinary things with their lives and yet have remained humble enough to remember their roots here at Texas Tech. And it is a privilege beyond words to be considered among this elite group. Now, I firmly believe that the success of any single individual is a strong family core. And I could not have asked for a more loving and supportive family. Thank you, Mom. Thank you, Delia, and my brother Kenny, who couldn't make it tonight, for always making me feel like I could accomplish anything that I set my mind to. I also want to give thanks to my dad, who also attended Texas Tech in dairy industry, and I met a classmate of his earlier today. But even though I only got to share 11 years with him, I have carried his spirit with me in everything that I do, and he's one of the reasons I chose Texas Tech. But that strong family core, that family goes beyond the bloodline. I owe a considerable amount of thanks to my extended family, including the many father figures that have come into my life and helped me in my personal and professional development, some of whom are represented here today. Wayne Thornton of El Paso City Parks and Recreation, who I wanted to thank you for ensuring that I had an athletic outlet to channel all of those youthful energies. And for Dr. Walter Borst, as mentioned in the video, for going above and beyond to help a little girl from El Paso who wanted to transfer out of UT El Paso and take a chance at getting a co-op position at NASA. So thank you for taking a chance on me. Also, my dad's brother, Gary, he didn't live in El Paso, but he kept his eye on me after my dad passed away. He played basketball for Tech in 59 and 60. And he rewarded my very wise decision to transfer to Texas Tech by agreeing to pick up my car payments as long as I was a Texas Tech student. So his son is here on his behalf tonight, and I wanted to thank him for that. Dr. Charlie Miles, when I don't know what I was thinking, but decided to go to grad school at New Mexico State University only after the first 2 weeks realizing, oh my goodness, what did I just do? And welcomed me back with open arms to graduate school, along with a research grant. And to Dr. David Lamp for, well, to be perfectly honest, for tolerating me. In my master's thesis, I am challenging to deal with. This I know. That's why I sat you next to my mother. So thank you very much for your patience with me over those years. Bless you. And finally, thanks to Chancellor Kent Hance, who somehow or another, 3 years ago, I came to give a talk at his leadership seminar, and we have become best friends. And I love this man, and he's become a great mentor and a very good supporter of mine. So thank you, sir. I am humbled by this incredible honor and so very grateful to the people here at Texas Tech that have laid the foundation that has enabled me to fulfill my life's dream of working for NASA. And I've been able to do that for the last 20 years, getting up every day, just happy to be doing what I'm doing, and it's such an awesome feeling. And I look very much forward to what contributions I can make over the next 20 years, whether it be at NASA, whether it be at Texas Tech, baking cakes, or dog rescue, which I also do. If anybody needs a puppy, let me know. I will drive it out to Lubbock. But I just wanted to say thank you very much, and I really appreciate this honor. Go Tech.
Brian's trek to Tech started on Galveston Island, where his family lived in a small cinder block home. The 4 McCoy kids, who include Brian, his brothers Mike and Dennis, as well as his sister Brenda, were born on the island, but even more importantly, they all became Red Raiders. Now, as we'll soon learn, Brian is always in a hurry. Here is Brian's senior swim team photo at Ball High School. He finished high school in 3 years and headed for Tech at the age of 17. Once Brian's mom and dad realized that the next generation was headed to Lubbock, they built the 6th McCoy store there, most probably to keep the boys close to the business, as well as earn their keep for college expenses. Over the school year, each of the boys served their time working in the stores, in the yard, and loading up customers' trucks, learning the business from the ground up. Brian and I first met in 10th grade biology class, and our first date was a bicycle ride along the seawall in Galveston when we were 15. I have to admit to you that I am one of the few McCoys who did not graduate from Tech, but over the years I have attended enough Red Raider events to make me a real believer in what Texas Tech stands for and what the school means to its graduates, and especially to Brian. In addition to working in the store and attending school, Brian was active in Delta Sigma Pi, the business fraternity on campus. During those 3 years, there was not a lot of time for ski trips, football games, or dating the Tech girls, a fact that I was pretty happy about, with me in Houston at Rice and Brian at Tech. Brian's freshman roommate and best friend at Tech was Randy Thompson. Now, Randy was the best man at our wedding, and through all these years, Randy and Brian have remained really good friends. So I thought you would like to hear about what Randy has to say about his friendship with Brian over these past 4 decades, and about their 3rd year rooming together at Tech.
We actually roomed together another year after that. Actually, Brian's final year, because he was in such a hurry to get out of there. He finished in 3 years. And it was during that year that I think we became really good friends and realized that each of us had something that the other was seeking, which was true friendship. He was a business major, I was an education major. We didn't have a whole lot in common. He worked 40-plus hours, took more than a full load, didn't have a whole lot of time to do much else, and yet we still found the time to make that connection and to learn to appreciate each other and let our friendship grow. 40 years? Brian, really 40 years?
McCoy's was founded in 1927 in Galveston as McCoy Roofing Company, doing business both as a roofer and making galvanized cisterns. The company eventually evolved into McCoy's Building Supply. In 1976, McCoy's had 11 locations, with revenue of close to $14 million. Today, McCoy's operates 85 locations in 5 states, with revenue of over $500 million, employing over 1,700 team members. Now, not only were the boys growing the business, but they were also growing their families. This is what the McCoy clan looked like on our wedding day in 1976. And following the memorial service for Brian's father this past January, the extended McCoy family gathered, and as you can see, our family has really blossomed. Brian and I are so proud of our children. Our son Reed and wife Catherine's family includes Stella and Teddy. Reed is a U.S. State Department officer in Vancouver, having worked in D.C. and Mexico. Our daughter Megan and husband Richard's family includes Greta and Gideon. Megan works alongside Brian in our family business as Vice President of Field Support. Brian and I will absolutely attest that there is nothing better than being Bunny and Gramps to our grandchildren. Now remember I told you that Brian is always in a hurry. Well, that has not changed over the years, with Brian's work ethic setting the standard and culture for the company. I have asked Brian's executive assistant, Nancy Rodriguez, to tell you a bit more about the McCoy culture.
Brian cares about people. Every morning, Brian sends out a company-wide voicemail to the entire company very early. Brian's an early riser. And in this voicemail, he talks about product information. He shares sales updates, business-related topics. But every voicemail that Brian sends out, he always begins talking about the people of McCoy's. Celebrating birthdays, anniversaries, just promotions. And this has become a special celebration of the people at McCoy's. Let's listen to one of those voicemails now.
Well, good Wednesday morning, McCoy team. This is Brian. I've got a lot of ground to cover this morning, so stick with me, would you? Two special individuals I want to honor this morning. Doug Weir, part of our Store 74 Austin BK's team, celebrating 10 years, a whole decade with our company. Doug, thank you so very much for that. And how about this? Domingo Rosas out of Store 19 Midland, 15 years with our company. And Domingo, thank you so much for all the customers you've served for these past 15 years. I had a great day in Gonzales yesterday with Jeff, Gary, Joey, Wade, Dorothy, the whole team. And, boy, this store just continues to go strong. These last couple of years especially, sales and profit have been very solid. It's a small team. Everybody pitches in, and they do such a terrific job. Thank you all for that.
At McCoy's, we have developed, in association with Dr. David and Teresa Ferguson, a very special leadership culture that we call Giving First. David is not only a great leader himself, but also a wonderful friend and sounding board for Brian. Brian is convinced that it is this relational leadership program that sets McCoy's apart from the rest of our industry and allows McCoy's to compete head-to-head and toe-to-toe with some of the largest retailers in the world. I have asked David to provide you with a bit of insight into what makes Brian tick.
You know, Watana mentioned some of those things that make Brian tick. Let me mention one of those. As someone involved in counseling and psychology, I could say this. I'll make up some words. Brian is one of the least compartmentalized people I've ever known. You see, all of us know the pain and the challenges of trying to live one way this way and one way with this group of people and one way at work and one way with our friends. Brian has an ethic about him, an ethic of wanting and a commitment to be a caring, supportive, giving first person. And it's that ethic that impacts people, makes him a great leader.
Well, Dad, congratulations on being a distinguished alumnus. You'll always be my business hero, but even more, I'm grateful that you'll always be my dad who loves me. Thank you so much for being a man of empathy, of compassion, and of hard work. I'd say that's distinguished indeed.
Hard work, generosity, humility, love of family, concern for others. If that's the measure of a man, then Dad, you've set the bar high. We love you, and we're so proud you're a distinguished alumnus, but we're so grateful you're a distinguished dad.
I wholeheartedly agree with Texas Tech and with all those who have spoken before. You, Brian, are distinguished indeed. Distinguished as a hard-working businessman of integrity and compassion, as a loving father, as a patient and generous husband, as a trusted partner and a faithful friend, and most of all, far beyond all your accomplishments, you are distinguished as the wonderful man you have become. I love you, and I am so proud and grateful to be your wife.
Brian McCoy, the hard work, self-discipline, and grit that shaped your life has paid off with over-the-top success. You lead with humility and class and by inspiring others to achieve their potential. The Texas Tech Alumni Association and Texas Tech University are proud to honor you as a distinguished alumnus for 2012.
Well, I sure appreciate being here tonight, and I want to thank the Alumni Association, Bill Dean, Peggy Pierce, and just the whole staff. And boy, my congratulations go out to Ginger, Kerrick, and Dr. David Schmidly, and I'm in such fine company. I'm very honored. For our family, my sister, my brothers, and I, we were first-generation college students, and you all know how significant that is to any family. And I've got to say, in January when we rolled into town and to attend the new Rawls College building opening. Prior to that, I had rented a 15-passenger van, took as many family members as possible. We took a tour around campus just to talk about the memories that we've had on this campus and all the special times in my family, I'll tell you. And then to walk in, a dream of mine was to honor my deceased brother Dennis. If you walk into the new building there, just to the left is the Dennis McCoy conference area, and I'm quite proud of that. I want to thank former deans Carl Stem and more recently Alan McGinnis for just keeping me connected to the university, and in more recent years too, Chancellor Hance. And at Rawls, I want to thank Susan Brown, Randy Rivers, and David Henry. Thank you for that. Who I've shared my life with really defines who I am. And Watana, thank you so much. This love story of ours started at 15 years old, and I'm just so deeply in love with you. She keeps me stronger, better, and so grounded. And I love you so much. Our son Reed is here with his wife Catherine. I'm so proud of Reed. He served as a young naval officer in the Persian Gulf, and now is with our Department of State. And Reed, just your example of patriotism and public service is just really inspirational to me. And he is here with his wife Catherine. Catherine, thank you for making me such a successful Gramps. You do that. Thank you for that. Our daughter Megan McCoy Jones is here with her husband Richard Jones, and Megan is our Vice President of Field Support, and we get to work together, and she's my most recent addition to our executive team. You know, the job for me would be to mentor my daughter in the business, and I enjoy doing that. But the reality is she really is mentoring me in so many, many ways, and we're making a great team. Richard, thank you. As a film producer and actor, he brings a very much needed amount of creativity to our family. And I'll tell you what our kids and their spouses do best would be to love our grandkids. So Stella and Teddy and Gideon and Greta, I'm just so grateful for them. My mom is here tonight, Miriam McCoy, and I'll tell you, her selflessness, her optimism, and her can-do spirit is something that our whole family just really thrives on. And thank you, Mom, for that. And my dad's not here today, but I must tell you that his integrity, his discipline, and his drive are something that I draw from each and every day. My parents could truly be the poster couple for the greatest generation. I believe that. My sister, Brenda McCoy Remy's here today, and her example of putting family first and serving others is really inspirational. And my brother-in-law, Kari, and I get to work in our ranching operation. I love that. My sister-in-law, Cindy McCoy, is here. My brother Dennis's widow. And Cindy, thank you so much for your example of trusting God despite huge personal loss. Thank you for that. I love my family, and I sure love the special people in my life. Randy Thompson, you heard from him, my roommate. He's here with his wife, Gayla, and also his mom, Dorothy Thompson. And Mrs. T, thank you for all those meals that you cooked us while we were students here. Randy, when I walked into Carpenter Hall 40 years ago this year, I gained a lifelong friend and a best man. And I tell you, if I hadn't gotten anything else out of Texas Tech, it had been worth it. Nancy Rodriguez is here with her husband, John, also a member of Team McCoy's. And okay, catch this. Nancy has worked for McCoy's for 36 years. She's my executive assistant. She's our corporate secretary. And Nancy, thank you, because of the high standards that you keep in our office, allow me to maintain those kind of high standards throughout our company. Thank you for that. My executive team is here tonight. Rick Neal, Dennis Strong, John Meeks, Kent Williams, Dan Stauffer, Greg Pinnell, Art Johnson. What a team. Okay, this is unusual in corporate America. They average 27 years with our company. We have literally grown up. Dan Stauffer, and I'm coming to him just a second. I'm saving Chuck for last. 27 years with our company. It's hard to imagine a team that had such significant challenges when we assembled 15 years ago to overcome a lot of that. In their drive, their integrity, the teamwork that my team has, their commitment to each other is really the envy, I think, of our industry. Chuck Churchwell is here tonight, a 42-year veteran with our company, and up until 2 years ago was my executive vice president and right hand. And Chuck, I'll tell you, we wouldn't be the same company, and I wouldn't be the same leader without you. Thank you so much for that. His wisdom, his support, and his feedback. But more importantly, the biggest thing that you've given me, Chuck, is confidence. Thank you for that. Two other key leaders in our company, Ron Van Winkle and Jeff Metzler, are here tonight, and they have important ties to the university, and thank you all for being here. And the spouses of our leaders, too. I just want to say, it's not missed on me the incredible contribution that you make. And our pilot staff is here tonight, Al Marciniak and Bill Moore, and countless early morning takeoffs. But can I just say this? There is no cutting-edge technology that takes the place of being there in person. And my team knows I like being there in person. Philip Joseph is here tonight, our outside counsel for almost 40 years. And along with his wife, Lisa, who also supports McCoy's as she works for the CPA firm that does our work. And Philip, all of your strategic support and planning has left an incredible mark on our company and our family. Thank you for that. And you've heard from Dr. David Ferguson and his wife, Teresa, here tonight. We're part of your ministry, being on your board. But David, thank you so much for providing the kind of wisdom that we needed, that relationships count in business, and how might we do business as unusual and do it in a godly way. Thank you for that. I got to tell you, it's just so important for me to share this recognition with my family and my team. But the most important people in the room tonight are the students that are here. And from just my group, Daniel, Morgan, Megan Williams, Anga, Timothy, and potential students, Brandon, and some of the raw students that I just met a few minutes ago, and all the other students. If you're a student, would you just raise your hand real high and proudly? Yeah. Because let me just say this. Yeah. I think about when I'm around students, all I want to do is share the enthusiasm for the work that we do and the fact that our work can be a calling. You students are the reason Texas Tech exists and why I am just mighty proud to be a Red Raider. Thank you so much, and God bless you.
Growing up on a cotton farm near Levelland, Texas, taught David J. Schmidly the value of hard work, responsibility, and accountability. Among his fondest memories are playing baseball for his father, Chick. After graduating from Levelland High School, David was the first person in his family to attend college. He majored in biology and came under the mentorship of Dr. Robert L. Packard, who introduced him to his lifelong interest in the natural history of mammals. He later worked with mammologist Dr. Robert Baker. David met the love of his life, Janet Knox, on a blind date, and together they built lasting friendships through organizations such as Sigma Nu Fraternity. Following graduation from Tech in 1966, David and Janet were married. He continued his studies, earning a master's degree in zoology in 1968. He earned his PhD degree in 1971 from the University of Illinois. Schmidly enjoyed a 25-year career at A&M, including 6 as head of the Department of Wildlife and Fisheries Sciences and 5 as CEO of the Galveston campus. He returned to Texas Tech in 1996 to serve as Dean of the Graduate School and Vice President for Research and Economic Development. August 2000 was a special time for David Schmidly and his family when he was selected to serve as Texas Tech's 13th president.
Ladies and gentlemen, I am honored to announce to you the new president of Texas Tech University, the 13th in its 27-year history, and his spouse, Dr. David J. Schmidly and Janet. Please come forward.
It's interesting, Janet got an email yesterday from one of our friends who's an ex-student of Texas Tech, and here's what it said. It said, will David's first act as president be to move the strip over to 19th Street? So you can see from my connections to the university, the expectations as president are very high. Realizing a lifetime dream is a very emotional moment for anyone, as you can tell. It's certainly true for me today. That is because Texas Tech represents much more than a job, much more than a place to work. It is my alma mater. It is the place where I developed as a young man, met my wife, started my family, and planned my future.
During his presidency, David and Janet worked closely with students such as Student Body President John Steinmetz, who is now at Texas Tech Regent. They shared a commitment to initiate Red Raider Camp at Junction and student tailgating.
As the new president begins his tenure, Schmidly holds on to the wisdom and words of a friend.
Trust your heart and rely on your wife. And I think I have a good heart. I know I have a good wife.
And a new post as Texas Tech's 13th president.
Schmidly put Texas Tech and Lubbock on the national radar when he hired Bobby Knight as basketball coach.
This is a return visit for Coach Bob Knight. It's a new visit for David Schmidly, the president of Texas Tech. This has been the big story in basketball next to the NCAA tournament this week. Bob Knight has returned, and he comes back via Lubbock, Texas. All right, I was going to say President Schmidly, Dr. Schmidly, but he likes Dave, so we'll say Dave.
Thank you.
When it was brought, I assume the athletic director came to you with the idea of hiring Bob Knight. Is that the way it worked?
That's the way it worked. Our athletic director has known Coach Knight for 30 years, and he's been affiliated with Texas Tech University for almost a half a century.
What was your immediate reaction?
My immediate reaction when he came to me was I thought it was a good idea. I said I wanted to go meet Coach Knight, so I took off for Florida. I had a couple of good days with Coach and his wife, Karen. We came back, talked to the faculty, talked to a lot of people about it, and then Athletic Director Myers came to me with the firm recommendation, and I carried it forward.
Also during his tenure, Texas Tech received its largest donation at that time from Picador basketball friend Jerry Rawls. Rawls provided funding for the Tech golf course and the lead gift for the Jerry A. Rawls School of Business.
And David Schmidly of Lubbock, a member of the Picador team from 1962-63, now president of Texas Tech University. Also, Jerry Rawls from Los Altos, California. This member of the Picador basketball team was honored this morning when the business school was named the Rawls College of Business in appreciation for the largest gift in Tech history, $25 million from Mr. Rawls. Let's give Jerry Rawls and all of them a big round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. The Picador team from 1962-63.
Schmidly published what he considers the two most significant books of his career while serving as president: Texas Natural History, A Century of Change, and The Mammals of Texas. In 2003, he was elected into the Texas Hall of Fame for Science, Mathematics, and Technology. The next career stop for Schmidly took him north of the Red River to become System CEO and president of the Oklahoma State System, one of the leading land-grant schools in the country. During his tenure, Boone Pickens made a generous donation of $165 million to build the new football stadium, and the basketball team under Coach Eddie Sutton made the Final Four in 2005. David Schmidly again connected well with the students and donned the infamous orange outfit and wig on national TV during the regional basketball finals in New Jersey. A former graduate student and current professor of biology at Tech, Dr. Robert Bradley, named a new species of deer mouse in his honor. He is famous for being the only university president to have a mouse named after him. In 2007, the University of New Mexico invited Schmidly to become its 20th president. After serving in the role 5 years, he retired in June 2012. While he has experienced an interesting and successful career in academia, David's crowning achievement is his family, including a daughter and son, their spouses, and 4 grandchildren. David and Janet are enjoying the good life in their home on 4 acres in the Pinon Juniper grasslands of north central New Mexico. He continues scholarly research and teaching at UNM, and most importantly, enjoying family and friends. Schmidly credits Texas Tech for his accomplishments and leadership work. David Schmidly, we're glad that this country boy from Levelland helped chart the course for the university on a path to greatness. The Texas Tech Alumni Association and Texas Tech University are pleased to honor you as a distinguished alumnus for 2012.
Well, we did get the strip moved, right? I don't think, Kent, you must have done that. I didn't have anything to do with it. Well, this is a real honor for me. I can't tell you how much it means to me. I want to thank the Alumni Association, and Brian, thank you, and Ginger, thank you for the many things you've accomplished and for your love and appreciation of Texas Tech. I've been fortunate in my life. I've received a lot of recognition, but nothing means anything more important to me than tonight because of what Texas Tech did for me in my life. My story at Tech began in 1962, and some of you in here know me, and you know I was pretty rough around the edges, to say the least. What was it? Yogi Berra once told a story about going to high school, and a teacher asked him, said, "Yogi, don't you know anything?" And he responded, "No, ma'am, I don't even suspect anything." Well, that was Dave Schmidly in 1962. I didn't know much, and I didn't suspect much. But let me tell you, what I found at Texas Tech was a lot of help. I found it from the faculty that took time, spent time with me, and encouraged me. You saw a picture of Robert Packard. He saw something in me, God, I don't know what, but he invested time in me. And then in 1967, Texas Tech hired a young assistant professor named Robert Baker. He's on the faculty today. He's one of the most distinguished faculty members at any university in this state. And Bob, for 45 years, invested energy. He helped me. He was my colleague. He was my mentor, and he was my friend. And Bob and his wife, Laura, are here tonight. And Bob, I so appreciate all the things you've done for me. No university could have done more for me than what Texas Tech did. You know, there's an old country saying, it's hard to make a silk purse out of a sow's ear. Many of you probably heard that. I'm not telling you I made a silk purse, but maybe at least I got to cotton level. And so, and Texas Tech did that. There's some special guests that have come tonight. They've come a long way. I'd like to take just a few minutes and recognize them. My family here. Janet, I met Janet on a blind date in 1963, and we've been together ever since. And we're kind of known as a duo, okay? But everyone in this room that knows us knows she's the best half of the deal. And she really is. Thank you, honey. I appreciate you being here. We have a great family. My daughter, Catherine, is here from Connecticut with my granddaughter, Cameron. This is Cameron's first college trip. She just turned 13. So I want all of you to stop by and recruit her to Texas Tech. That's what we're working on this weekend. But sis, I appreciate you being here. Our son Brian is here. Brian lives out near us in New Mexico. And his wife was here, but the two little boys just woke up about 20 minutes ago, so she's headed back to the hotel. Carla is actually a graduate of Texas Tech. She received her master's degree here in 2000. And then we've got a lot of friends with us tonight. They've traveled a long way, and they mean a lot to Janet and I. John and Diane Strop from College Station. They've been our friends for 30 years. Ron and Vicki Kessler from Austin. Ron is sort of my leadership coach, and God knows I needed it. And he kept me from going haywire too many times. And Nancy Yates from Albuquerque. Nancy's late husband, Terry, was one of my graduate students. He got his PhD with Bob Baker here at Texas Tech and was a great leader at the National Science Foundation. And Nancy, I appreciate you being here. Some of my greatest memories, and I hope none of them are told tonight, are from my old Sigma Nu buddies. I was fortunate to find Sigma Nu. A lot of guys came from a background similar to me, and some of them are here tonight. John Sims and Richard Hubbard from Lubbock. John has managed to keep me out of jail in the 3 times I've been president, and that's not easy. Jerry Sprayberry from rural Texas is here tonight. When I was sick as a dog in a hospital in Houston, who shows up but Jerry to encourage me and tell me to get out of that hospital. Jerry, I've always appreciated that. Jim Harmon from here in Lubbock, who's devoted so much of his life and career to the Sigma Nu chapter. And then especially want to recognize my old college roommate and fraternity brother, Skip Whitehill. He and his wife, Shirley, are here from San Antonio. So those are all great memories. I need to thank, there's a special friend here. I met this young man in 1950. His dad farmed cotton right across the street from where my dad did. James Blackwell from Littlefield, Texas, and his wife, Nelda. Now, Littlefield's playing mule shoe tonight for the district championship. Now, James has got to like me a lot or he would not be here. So, James, I appreciate the fact that you're here. And then you mentioned that mouse that was named after me. I'm actually kind of proud to know that there's a mouse running around the world that carries a Schmidly legacy. Robert Bradley back here was one of my students. One of the things I always did at A&M, I sent my good students to Robert Baker because I knew he'd make something out of them. And he did, every single one of them. And Robert Bradley was one of those students. And so, Robert, I thank you. Again, to the Alumni Association, thanks. This means so much to Janet and I. It's the end of our string. We've had a great ride, and Texas Tech made it all possible. And David, I guess David, did he have to leave? David Wagner? Where's David? Oh, okay. David Wagner's uncle was my dad's one of his best friends in Levelland growing up. He ran the gas station there where we filled up our cars all the time, Cal Cash. And David worked for me when I was in the administration here at Texas Tech. So God bless all of you. Thank you. Thanks to Texas Tech. Made an old country boy proud. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Ms. Kerrick, would you join the Chancellor and me up here? Mr. McCoy, would you come back up? And Dr. Schmidly, I should have just told you to stay up. Our Chancellor has some special medallions to present to you at this time.
Thank y'all, and let's have a round of applause. 3 stars. Three stars. These are first-class individuals. I'm proud of them. And to Bill Dean and to all the officers and the people that give so much of their time to the Texas Tech Alumni Association, what a great organization this is. I want to tell you that from time to time I meet with chancellors, presidents, and they seem to tell you they'll have problems with the Alumni Association. We don't have problems with the Alumni Association. We work with them. They work with us. They do a great job. And if you're not a member, you need to join. And if you are a member, you need to double the amount you're paying in there. And that the officers over there are clapping for that. Wagner's looking at me like I should have said triple. Don't want to look too far. But it's a great organization. And just, you look at that list and you say, wow, I mean, what all-stars we have. And we're just very proud of all of you. And Mayor David Miller, thank you. You're a great guy. And about 80% of your jokes are really funny. And so come on up and tell the other 20%.
It's actually the highest compliment I've ever gotten from Chancellor Hans. Been a lot of changes in the last year. It was my opening comments, and as much as my job is to try to get you to relax and laugh and enjoy the evening as we honor these outstanding individuals, each year I get a chance to do this. I try to close it with some sort of message that maybe you can take away that would also touch and improve your lives. So a year ago, as I was introducing some people in the audience, and by the way, there are at least a couple of additional extra VIPs in my eyes here tonight. One of them is Carol Myers right over here, who a guy grossly overmarried several years ago. His name's Gerald Myers, and that was my basketball coach in high school. I was the manager, didn't play, but I was the towel boy. And then right over there's Nell Delaney, and what was your name again, sir? Speaker of the House, Pete Laney. It's just always good to see you two at this special event. But anyways, I was introducing people. I introduced my wife of 39 years, 5 months, and 8 days, which if you knew Jane Ann, you knew that she had a heart issue, and every day was a gift. And so if you asked me any date, I could have told you to the day. So tonight, I would have introduced her at 40 years, 5 months, and 6 days, but on September 1st, she went home. So this is my 69th day without Jane Ann. And the reason I tell you the story is what I saw in you, David, and in you, Brian, and in you, Ginger, was what I consider to be the most attractive, magnetic, compelling, and loyalty-building leadership quality there is. And it's a little word called authenticity, being the real deal, not wearing the mask, kind of opening the kimono and being willing to say, yeah, I've got warts and scars, but this is really me. And I think that attracts people, wherever you may be. But in order to be authentic, you have to be vulnerable. And you have to give something called integrity, a word that's related to the math word integer. Remember, fraction was a part of a number, integer was a whole number. Integrity comes from the same Latin word. So if you're going to be a person of integrity, a man or woman of integrity, it means you've got to give your whole self. And that has great risk. Being vulnerable, giving all you've got, has great risk. So I want to tell you the last 69 days have been the worst of my entire life. But did I mention the 14,701 days of happiness that I had with Jane Ann? Give it all you've got. Give your integrity. Go ahead and risk being vulnerable, because whatever the pain may be later, it is certainly worth the joy and the happiness now, including what we got to experience with these three incredible people here tonight. Aren't you proud to be a Red Raider? And aren't you proud that you're represented by so many good people? Thank you for coming. Please be careful going home. There's a lot of crazy people out there Friday night in a college town. So God bless each and every one of you. Come back.